Yori, wake up, dummy. There's no response. Oh, jeez. What the Oh my god. I don't want to do this anymore!
That was me, a 13-year-old screaming like a little girl to a certain infamous scene from the visual novel Doki Doki Literature Club. Yeah, I know, I'm a normie whose first visual novel was DDLC. Playing DDLC, I remember genuinely enjoying spending time with the characters after school, talking about each other's poems and preparing for the festival. I was actually disappointed when the festival didn't happen. Years later, and becoming more familiar with the medium, I heard about You and Me and Her, also known as Toteno, a similar visual novel that had subversive meta-elements just like DDLC. Not only does it surpass DDLC in its fourth wall breaks and psychopathic yanderes, it also focused on character interactions and makes you invested in them before it all comes tumbling down. So, hearing all this, I just had to read it. And here we are. This video will recap and analyze You and Me and Her to the end while inserting my own thoughts at points. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of romance, betrayal, NTR, and anime girls gaining sentience. This is You and Me and Her. Life is like a staircase. You just gotta keep climbing. Otherwise, if you start to overthink it, you'll have trouble taking the next step. There are no branching paths, no point in regretting the actions you didn't take. They say life is a series of choices, but that's nonsense cooked up by the old and bitter. Yesterday leads to today, and today leads to tomorrow, one step at a time. What lies ahead, you won't know until you get there. Our boy Sasuke Shinichi finds himself on the rooftop of his school, taking the beautiful sunset view in. He was called in here by his bro classmate friend Yutaro, but he seemingly isn't here. Mysteriously, he finds a cell phone lying face down. There's an incoming call from God, but before Shinichi could answer, it stops ringing. After that, you can either place a call or check the call history. Placing a call lets you punch in some numbers, but not much happens. In the call history, there's many records, but there's only one recipient, God. Suddenly, the screen shows this. A girl shows up sitting on Shinichi. She says her batteries are dying and she needs to recharge. She wants to get zappy. He must have accidentally opened some visual novel game on this phone. Shinichi isn't really experienced with them though. He was then interrupted by someone on the roof. She falls right on top of Shinichi and she seemingly reenacts the exact scene that was in the visual novel earlier, looking exactly like the girl in the game and saying the exact same things. You get the choice to get zappy or not. Yeah, guess what I chose. But of course, right as he's about to kiss her, Shinichi gets cock-blocked by a girl named Sone Miyuki, who asks what they are doing. The mysterious girl says she's recharging, which Miyuki replies to stop messing around with Shinichi. She comes out and says that Shinichi is her boyfriend. She's been his childhood friend for a long time, but she was always so unattainable and perfect. In comparison, Shinichi thinks he's a nobody. The mysterious girl sees through their bluff and explains she's a radio transmission from God. She also calls Miyuki the archetypal childhood friend character and goes back onto riding Shinichi's hips. Miyuki understandably takes offense to this. She's a real person with real feelings, not just some archetype. The mysterious girl then asks to prove their relationship. They should kiss if they are really dating, but Miyuki's being awfully embarrassed. There's an intimate moment here, this being her first kiss, but she just can't do it. She thought the letter she received that invited her to the rooftop was from Shinichi, but it was actually from... the Chad and leader of the Boys and Dreams Club, Yutaro, called them up here. Upon seeing him, Miyuki leaves the roof and slams the entrance door behind her. The mysterious girl interrupts, lifting her hand in the air, saying even more mysterious things like she's a romance option and Shinichi needs to trigger her event flag and stuff. Yutaro responds jealously. Shinichi was about to kiss her. Shinichi says she's got this disorder called gamer brain, someone who can't differentiate games and reality. I want to talk about gamer brain a bit. I don't know if they actually called this in the Japanese version, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about the Chu-Nibyo syndrome. It's a whole trope in anime where young teens in Japan really think they have hidden magical powers because of the media they consume. I tried researching it. Some say it's real and it's a serious problem that sometimes carries into adulthood. Some say it's just part of growing up. Either way, gamer brain is, I guess, a decent way to localize this for English readers about this phenomenon in Japan. So this girl leaves because this isn't her route, and Yutaro calls you a normie for hooking up with her and Miyuki. Yutaro finally says her name. It's Muko Aoi. In bed, he thinks it was kind of weird how she acted just like in the visual novel. So as first scenes in visual novels go, it sets up the mystery well, the enigma of Muko Aoi, not only about her reenacting the visual novel, but also the words she uses and her attitude in general. Yutaro is an idiot, and that's definitely shown in spades here, but I gotta complain about Miyuki. She's usually serious and uptight in most scenes after this. Pretending to be Shinichi's boyfriend out of the blue just isn't something she would do. I say this because she gets antagonized later on, and it's a bit hard to believe how she acted here. One more thing about Aoi. Notice that she finishes her sentence with the phrase, nano. I got this from watching an idol anime that made fun of this trope, but when characters repeat a phrase or verbal tick at the end of their sentences, that's something called a kyaragobi. You'll hear a lot of characters in anime end sentences with de gozaru or nya or something. Apparently there's a name for it. It doesn't exist in English at all because it would sound repetitive and annoying as hell, but in anime it's used for more eccentric characters, just like Aoi here. Oh well, let's continue. Tomorrow we got school. A letter tumbled out of Shinichi's letter telling him to go to the roof at lunch. Yutaro, thinking it's a love letter, calls him a normie, filled with incel rage. Yep, that's his bit. His receiving a love letter is a betrayal of the Boys and Dreams Club, a club Shinichi didn't really even want to be in the first place. Anywho, Yutaro gives him the phone that had the visual novel yesterday. He knew it from his kid brother who's a VN fan. Shinichi notices Aoi in the corner of the class. She looks exactly like the character on screen. He comments that Aoi looks so disconnected from everyone else. Yutaro straight up gives Shinichi a free phone. What a bro. The one that has the VN on it. Miyuki enters class, looking like the picture-perfect popular girl in school. Pretty, athletic, smart, and popular, she's got it all. Yutaro, at the sight of her, wants to confess his love immediately, so he leaves Shinichi. Speaking of girls, look at this art. These character designs are so good. I kind of have an obsession with generic anime girls' designs, only meant to be in the background. These designs are kind of indicative of attention to detail and effort put into the work as a whole, but I'll just be honest, I like them because they're really cute. Okay, moving on. Shinichi can't help but notice how lonely Aoi is in class. Shinichi continues playing the game on the phone Yutaro gave him, and it shows a scene of Aoi being in a cardboard box, pretending to be a cat. Shinichi looks at the IRL Aoi, who's just aloof, hand in the air, staring at nothing. So about that letter, Shinichi goes to the roof and meets Miyuki, though apparently she didn't write that letter. So they wait for something to happen. They stand around awkwardly, silently next to each other. Shinichi reminisces about their past. They used to be so close. Hearing the crack of a baseball bat, Shinichi asks why she brought one to the roof yesterday. She's practicing her swing for an upcoming play. She's always been a pro since she was young, but practices anyways. She's a perfectionist and puts a lot of effort into everything she does. Shinichi sees traces of the girl she used to be. They used to like each other, but they gave up on each other long ago. The imagery of their hands on either side, not interacting with each other. All this dialogue of their unrequited past love is it's like art. It's art, dude. It's beautiful. I do get that strong impression of a bygone, sad, petered-out love in this scene. Really, the whole visual novel has this prevailing sense of beauty surrounding it, with the painting-like backgrounds and the sleek user interface. It's a very pretty-looking VN. Shinichi asks about yesterday, about her pretending to be his boyfriend. Miyuki, caught off guard, agreed. Yup, it was all an act. Shinichi doesn't mention it. Talking about Aoi now, Miyuki does not like her very much. As a girl who works and works hard, seeing a girl pretend everything is a game infuriates her. Aoi appears to rebut her statement. She can tell the difference and will prove this is all a game by pulling down her skirt. The world will fade to black then. Shame Miyuki stops her before she does that, but she has other proof. She will call God. No one picks up, so Miyuki and Shinichi aren't convinced. Miyuki's heard rumors she's got a difficult family situation and sleeps in a different bed every night. Maybe that's why she's so cuckoo crazy. Aoi eventually gets down from there and enacts Plan A, to befriend Shinichi and Miyuki. There's a choice here to be friends or not, but they both refuse either way. So Plan B it is. Selfie time. She took a picture of the three of them and will show it to the rest of the class. This is blackmail. Miyuki quite rudely says she'll never make any friends and to never call her Miyuki, and then leaves. Aoi doesn't really know what friends are, so Shinichi says one way is to trade email addresses. Strangely, she doesn't get any connection on her phone at the rooftop of the school, so they exchange it manually. They're friends now.
It's in my code. It's in my code. Have y'all ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah.
You remember how that girl in there, the people that was racing, they were,
glitch.
yeah, she was the glitch.
Yeah.
You telling me they don't look at me like the motherfucking glitch?
Shinichi, while being the wallflower of the class and being generally friendless, as much as Aoi, doesn't really feel any connection towards her. I guess she's just too weird to hang out with. He questions why no emails he tried sending to her actually get received to her phone, though. Back in school, Yutaro brings some panties to school. Okay, so Yutaro has this dumb plotline all to himself that goes on for a while. You'll see it unravel throughout this video and the kind of perverted shenanigans he gets up to. For now, though, Yutaro got some panties, brought them to school, and wants to enjoy himself to them. Okay. Miyuki enters class and Aoi strikes up a conversation, asking if they are friends. Miyuki keeps up her queen bee persona, saying of course they're friends, but when asked for her email address, Miyuki brushes her off, saying she'll do it later. We get a painful montage after this of Aoi attempting to talk to Miyuki. Can she help with her math homework? Can she join up with her for the art project? Can they hang out after school? But every single time, Miyuki has an excuse and walks away. It's quite endearing to see Aoi try to befriend Miyuki, but she just can't get a hint. Miyuki is portrayed the villain here, at least for this scene. In the rain, Shinichi sees Aoi standing around absent-mindedly in front of the school gates without an umbrella. She didn't even notice it was raining. Shinichi, being a decent human being, hands her his umbrella. Aoi is impressed at this umbrella invention. She thanks him, to which Shinichi is surprised she would do that. They walk home together. Aoi talks about her god who created her. God's contact is special, which is why Shinichi can't contact her phone. Aoi wants Miyuki's contact, though, to befriend her. They reach a manga store, and Aoi says that's where she lives. She lives off of snacks and soda from the vending machine. Hearing her depressing living situation, Shinichi just kinda leaves her. To make her situation even sadder, Aoi the next scene constantly pesters Miyuki to be her friend, to which Miyuki doesn't even respond. All I can say is, poor Aoi. Back to Yutaro's plotline. You know those panties yesterday? Those were Ryujiro's, his little brother's panties. He enjoys cross-dressing. Okay, so I actually enjoy this development, because guess what? I've tried cross-dressing too. Here's what I bought to wear once, and never again. It's a purple sailor uniform looking thing. Acting gay sure is fun. Alright, enough of that. Yutaro is completely devastated by his little brother's underwear, and yeah. Shinichi goes to the roof and sees Aoi doing her shtick, hand in the air, calling for God. Shinichi climbs up the ladder and enjoys the view of his town. Shinichi, trying to improve Aoi's diet, gives her some Yable's tomato juice. Yable's tomato juice becomes kind of an important plot point, so I decided to try some juice for myself. Hello and welcome to Tomato Juice Reviews. This ain't no Yable's, it cost $1, and I'm gonna drink it. Bottoms up. I usually like tomatoes, but there's just so much iron in here, and I checked, that it tastes like blood. So that's not good. Well, you know what they say, if it looks like blood and tastes like blood, well, Aoi drinks it and loves it. So finally Shinichi apologizes for getting Aoi and Miyuki to be friends, feeling bad because of all of her attempts to befriend her. Aoi doesn't mind though, she never felt bad whenever Miyuki blew her off. Why? She can just save and load whenever she wants. Shinichi slowly develops some empathy for Aoi. She's a person, no matter how weird, and people need friends. That night, Shinichi goes to the batting cages. He sees Miyuki practice. Her form, her swing, her grace, it's honestly quite bewitching. Shinichi asks her what her opinions on Aoi are. While her effort is admirable, she has no understanding of who Miyuki is or her as a person. Miyuki was alienated when she was young, way too talented and gifted for anyone to approach her. She put in the effort to be likable and became popular. She's not going to throw that away for Aoi. Shinichi wants better for Aoi. We need to help and teach her how to make friends. It's clear Shinichi has this empathy Miyuki doesn't. She acquiesces though, agreeing to befriend Aoi in the end after Shinichi's insistence. Miyuki says, keep in mind, she has an ulterior motive, to bring Miyuki and Shinichi together. Shinichi doesn't want that. It'll just hurt the both of them, but for Aoi, Shinichi will befriend her regardless. Miyuki wants something in return. She's practicing her baseball swings for this upcoming play to which she absolutely can't embarrass herself on stage. So what does she need help with? She doesn't tell him. She's keeping this problem to herself, it seems. Shinichi comments on her reliable, need-no-help attitude, but she should admit when she needs help sometimes. Miyuki takes another swing. Something about Shinichi, she says, makes her feel she can trust him. It's Yutaro, oh god. He confronted his little brother and his cross-playing hobby. He asks Shinichi for any advice at all. What should he do? He's trying to stay woke, but it's kinda weird when it's your family member. Shinichi says he just needs more time to understand him. It's probably good advice. You don't want to be rash when people reveal themselves about stuff like this. They comment on Aoi and Miyuki's depressing interactions, but today that changes. Miyuki finally approaches Aoi and offers to tutor her on her math homework. We get more scenes of them bonding, eating lunch on the roof. Now that Miyuki is opening up, it's kind of relieving to see her friendly side after being antagonized for the last 1 or 2 hours. On the roof, they talk about each other's lunches. Aoi only eats sweets and chocolates, Shinichi only eats fried potatoes, and Miyuki has a stacked bento. These kinds of scenes don't progress the plot, so the first time around they are kind of boring to read, but looking back they are the crux and main appeal of the visual novel. These slice of life spending time with characters are the moments I think back on when the plot gets serious, and makes me miss the fun moments. That being said, I am skipping through these scenes a bit. I mean, they do just talk about Aoi getting sleepy while doing her homework, her affinity for Yabole's tomato juice, and Miyuki possibly being on a diet, so Aoi throws a cake off the roof. It doesn't set up for anything, doesn't progress the plot, but it gives a bit more information about the characters. Although, Miyuki finally learns Aoi lives in a manga cafe and feels bad for her, so she makes her lunch. So yeah, it does deepen their relationships. In class, Aoi and Miyuki converse normally now, so that's great. We see Yutaro with bruises on his face. Basically, his little brother's cross-dressing hobby was found out by their authoritarian parents, and Yutaro jumped to his defense, and then the argument got physical. Good to see Yutaro cares about his brother. Back at the rooftop, the trio take a selfie. This time around, it had everyone's consent, and the 3 are smiling in it. Oh, except Shinichi, I guess. Miyuki finally trades emails with Aoi. Aoi is ecstatic. They try emailing and calling Aoi's phone, but again, it doesn't work. Even at the rooftop, which is at the center of the universe, according to her. Tomorrow, at school, Shinichi meets Aoi at the gym with a student called Haru, who promptly screams and runs away at the sight of Shinichi. Miyuki appears, asking what they did to her. Well, anywho, with her performance coming up, she'll need to practice for her battering more. Miyuki asks if they want to try it out, and Aoi was interested, so they might as well head up the batting cages. On the way, Miyuki goes back to get something she forgot, to which Aoi nudges, "There's a bug in Miyuki's route." Shinichi refuses to believe it, but Aoi insists she was created by God as a romance option for the main character, and hints Shinichi could use her too. Shinichi is mad at her for even thinking things like this, and to never speak of them again in public. She's their friend, not a robot. Aoi doesn't notice it, or even understand why, but tears stream from her eyes. Miyuki interrupts them, scolding Shinichi at doing something to her, but no, Aoi says these are tears of joy. Shinichi really feels like he's made a big step to cracking Aoi's shell. The Aoi who was emotionless before he met her. So Miyuki, while she was gone, bought some ice cream. Aoi smiles at Miyuki, eating it, and she smiles back. They stop at the cat store because Aoi wanted to go there. It had tons of cat merchandise, but also doubled as a pet supply shop. Miyuki quietly stood still in the front of the shop. She said she wasn't emotionally prepared, but was pushed in by Shinichi. She melts from the cuteness of the store interior, cats being a soft spot for her. Even worse, Aoi dons a cat onesie to which Miyuki passes out from. They notice a pair of cat hairpins, and Shinichi offers to buy them for Miyuki. Miyuki rejects it, and Aoi accuses her for being totally tsundere right now. Outside, you get the choice to give the hairpins to Aoi or Miyuki. Well, Shinichi said he'd buy them for Miyuki, so I chose her. She gave it to Aoi, but surprise, he bought 2 and gave the other to Miyuki, wasting his entire food budget. But it was all worth it seeing Aoi wear the cat hairpin. Needless to say, it's adorable. Although, I think this is where I noticed something special about her design. Look into her eyes. They look dark and empty. Looking at Miyuki's eyes, there really is a difference. She has this white shine here that doesn't make it look empty. Nice character design. Well, it's late, and she leaves for the manga cafe. Her last words for the night were, "Now's a big chance to confess your love," stunning Miyuki and Shinichi. And then she just leaves. What a troll. Walking home together, Miyuki now has some alone time with Shinichi, saying she's glad they became friends again. Miyuki asks though, is she interested in Aoi? No, Shinichi just wants her to experience some friends for once. It's exactly like Miyuki in her youth. She was immensely talented but had no social etiquette, looking down on others. Shinichi was her first friend. He's the one that got her nominated into the school play, which really helped her. She realized how to differentiate her real self and her character on stage. I didn't notice it at first, but this is a real genius nod at how Miyuki learned how to have multiple personas, because she was an actress. She played as someone she wasn't, so she developed the Queen Bee persona and then her real self around her friends. It was built into her backstory. Miyuki talks about that thing she was quiet about back at the batting cages. The upcoming play has a kissing scene, and this will be her first kiss. She doesn't know how to deal with this. Kissing someone she doesn't truly love as her first kiss for a play. She'll just hope for the best. Oh, and for him to keep it a secret. Shinichi reminisces on the elementary school play that changed Miyuki's life. Shinichi was in the play too, but completely sucked at acting, which Miyuki helped him with. In the end, Miyuki was awarded with praise, but Shinichi was still a nobody. That's the way things have always been, and should be between them, but... This might change things. Whoa, Yutaro is back in the plot. Okay, newsflash, his little brother confessed his love for him in a girl's school swimsuit, and to make it even worse, Yutaro found him cute. No comment. Aoi came in late, and Shinichi noticed she looks like something's bothering her. That afternoon on the rooftop, Aoi notices Shinichi's avoiding Miyuki after that awkward night before with Miyuki confessing her issues. Even though she wanted to keep it a secret, he tells it anyways to Aoi. They're all friends, should be fine. That secret being that Miyuki was going to have a kiss at the upcoming play. He adds that there's always been a big divide between them. She's so talented and special, but he's not. Why pursue a love like this? When Miyuki can find anyone she wants, why settle with a loser like him? Aoi hears his problems and offers a way, so that Shinichi will never be cucked.
CG たくさん溜まったの。充電完了。神様に電波届くの。だから世界をアップデートするの。
Here's where Aoi does some wacky shit. For the ones waiting for when the story will actually get all glitchy and meta, this is when. So, stop her or let her do it. Let's stop her for now. Shinichi, who never believed in her gamer brain nonsense, is now scared she might do something regrettable here. Shinichi tells her to stop. He doesn't mind if Miyuki loves him. They're friends now, and that's fine with him. Aoi says, is it really fine? He's going straight into a bad ending. Yeah, that's not foreshadowing or anything. They meet Haru in the gym again. Aoi asks if she likes Shinichi from how awkward she's acting, then runs away again. Miyuki offers for them to go to the batting cages. They went there when they were children, and they're showing Aoi the place. Aoi is of course completely incompetent at batting, so Miyuki shows off. They teach her how to bat. Miyuki comments Shinichi's always been a great teacher. Shinichi taught her how to. Miyuki wants him to bat like old times, but for some reason Shinichi thinks that'll destroy everything the three built this whole time. That's kind of a weird thing to say. Miyuki questions him on this. What is he so afraid of? Aoi's not feeling so good, so they take her home. Miyuki wants some advice about the play. Aoi says, is it about the kiss? So yeah, Miyuki is mad that Shinichi did not keep her secret. Aoi blurts out more. She says Shinichi's scared of Miyuki being with other men. Whether or not that's 100% accurate, Miyuki finally says her true feelings. He doesn't know how hard she has been holding back her feelings for him. Miyuki runs away and leaves Shinichi and Aoi alone. Shinichi just can't bring himself to run after her. Well, that sucks. Hey, Aoi, what do you think we should do?
はい。このルートはバッドエンド。選択肢間違えたの。セーブデータをやり直すの。
That sounds like spectacular advice. So this photo appears in his mail. He never did see Miyuki's play. Yutaro's like, hell yeah, keep the Boys and Dream Club going. Shinichi just feels dissatisfied with his life. No rising action, no climax, no nothing. 3 years later, he sees Miyuki on TV. She looks fervently at a male co-star. Their relationship was leaked to the press a while ago. All the while, Shinichi's here getting onion juice in his eye, cooking discount pork. The days pass by as Shinichi follows the path he was fated to take. Yeah, this ending is just disappointing. Honestly, probably the most real ending of the visual novel, filled with unrequited love and regrets of unspoken emotions, only being able to reminisce on the good old times through a sad veil. Enough poetry, let's just do the thing Aoi told us to do. Okay, I'm back at the scene now. Let's let her do it.
電波届いたの。この中のゲーム改造して新一とみゆきと結ばれるようにしたの。絶対に寝取られないようにしたの。この世界はゲームなの。
The opening of the game finally plays. Funnily, in universe, the opening plays too, as Shinichi points out it was playing on her phone. Aoi says, yep, let's go to the batting cages now. Shinichi doesn't notice anything different, and Aoi doesn't mention it, so I guess we'll just accept this. Going downstairs, Shinichi gets that email of that picture of them on the roof. I guess her phone works sometimes. Aoi also made a new save file, so now they won't get any bad endings. So I covered the next two scenes in the bad ending route already. You meet Haru in the gym, you teach Aoi how to bat, Miyuki still gets mad at you for telling her secret. But there is one key difference between the bad ending route and the one in this scene. There's a box, and Aoi gets distracted by the box. There's a cat inside it. I find this interesting because this is basically God's intervention. If this cat wasn't here, the bad ending route will happen. Funny how that works. Aoi picks the cat up and pets it while Miyuki shrieks. She loves cats, but she's allergic. What a tragic character. Aoi promptly gets in the box and pretends to be the cat's mother. Weirdly, this looks exactly like that scene in the mobile visual novel game. Miyuki wants nothing to do with the stray cat, warning Aoi she will cut ties with her if she keeps playing with it. She runs away. Aoi, after being taught what cutting ties mean, does not want that to happen. They want to keep the cat, but Aoi resolves to leave the cat where it was. Tears stream down Aoi's face, but they don't seem like the happy kind from earlier. The second they reach home, it started raining. Shinichi realizes the cat's still there, and during the rain, so he goes straight to it. But the cat is missing. Miyuki comes to the same conclusion, but goes to Aoi instead of the cat. They're both worried about what Aoi will do. Miyuki told her to stay away from the cat, but she just can't leave the cat in the rain. Now Aoi is missing. They think of places where she could be, her parents' house, the manga cafe, the rooftop, but she isn't at any of those places. Shinichi, full of despair, zones out, but Miyuki snaps him back to reality. He thanks her for being there for Aoi. She wouldn't just cut ties with her if she's searching for her. Then an idea popped in Shinichi's head. That visual novel was able to read the future before, so now he's going to use it to find where Aoi is. At home, he gets the unsettling thought, while skipping the text, what if he reads further than he was meant to? But then gets interrupted by Miyuki. He knows where to find Aoi now, and they go to school at night, and sure enough, the pedestrian gate is hanging open. Miyuki is suspicious where he got the idea to go to school from, but for now, she understands they have to find Aoi first. In the gym, they found a cat meowing, and Aoi crying. Aoi's worried Miyuki will cut ties with her, but she just couldn't stop thinking about the cat. Miyuki, hearing this, takes her words back. She'll still stay friends with her. Aoi tackle hugs Miyuki, and she squeaks a bit from the hug. Aoi brought the cat out too, and calls her Eru now. Miyuki gives Aoi some hot corn chowder, which makes her feel all toasty and warm. Aoi gives some Yabli's tomato juice back. They have properly made up now. They figure Eru needs to drink too, so they go to the convenience store to buy Eru milk. Oh hell yeah, 812, my favorite establishment, besides McDonald's. Aoi heads into it to buy it, while Shinichi is honest about liking Aoi, taking care of that cat. She's just doing what she thinks is best. Miyuki wants to be honest with her feelings too, but gets cut off before saying whatever definitely unimportant thing she was just about to say. Aoi came back out with milk and says the plan alone time failed, huh? Basically, Aoi went into the convenience store alone just so Shinichi and Miyuki might hook up if they were alone. It was literally just about to work if she didn't interrupt, but okay. They all hang out in Shinichi's house. Aoi mentions the convenience store clerk. She was that shy girl who kept running away from Shinichi. Miyuki right now is in a separate room, deathly afraid of Eru, but still wants Shinichi to take pictures of him. Aoi says Eru is a transceiver cat, whatever that means. Eru starts licking the glass that Miyuki is looking through, and she melts down on the other side from cuteness. Shinichi gives her the pictures, but Miyuki wants Shinichi to do one more thing. To kiss her. She says it's for the play. It wouldn't feel right. Her first kiss would be with someone she doesn't know much about. But he refuses. In fact, he feels offended Miyuki would see him as some sort of guinea pig to experiment with. Aoi interrupts, shouting for them to stop arguing, and then she stumbles. Her battery needed recharging, she said. Shinichi walks her all the way to the manga cafe and tells Miyuki to go home. During their walk, she asks why did Shinichi befriend her in the first place. It's because she reminded him of Miyuki when she was young, a loner just like her. Aoi realizes it's all because of Miyuki then, huh? She says to leave her, but Shinichi decides to carry her all the way home. Aoi, appreciating his act of friendship, confesses her feelings. She's incredibly grateful for all that they've done. The past few days were the most amount of fun she's ever had. Maybe there could have been an Aoi route, but now it's Miyuki's route. Way to be subtle, Aoi. Actually, hearing Aoi say stuff like this reminds me of a certain character from another visual novel where her entire character is to kind of act above everyone else, and say cryptic things with a godlike presence as well. That'd explain why I enjoy Aoi's character, I guess. Aoi says he's going to be Miyuki's prince and sleeps for the night. Yutaro is back, everyone, right when I started to forget he existed. He updates his little brother's romance. He has a crush on someone. Yutaro is literally actually jealous. Enough of that, Miyuki asks to borrow Shinichi, and they both leave class. They go to the gym, and Miyuki suspects Shinichi's hiding something. How did he know Aoi is going to be at the gym that day? He's just honest with it. He got it from a visual novel game Aoi is seemingly reenacting. Miyuki doesn't enjoy this video games are real theme going on. She asks about the cat. How'd she know the cat would be there? But that question goes unanswered as Miyuki realizes something and runs back home. She'll call him later. In class, Aoi's desk is empty. Shinichi sits alone on the rooftop, reminiscing of the times he ate with Miyuki and Aoi. He gets a message from Miyuki to be at the batting cages tonight. He couldn't think about anything but this kiss she's practicing for the play. That afternoon, he stops by the manga cafe, but she isn't there either. Shinichi questions himself about her email. He isn't dense. If he kisses Miyuki, that'll upend their relationship, and where would that leave Aoi? He prefers the status quo. Someone keeps ringing the doorbell, so Shinichi opens the door to find Aoi. She's asking Shinichi for help with a desperate tone. Aoi lost her phone. She can't get transmissions from God anymore. Shinichi's willing to help, but can't right now because of his meeting with Miyuki. Aoi begs him to help and stay by her side, and, well, he can't say no. So he asks where she remembers it was last. Before she went to the batting cages yesterday, she spent all of today searching for it, and the last possible place is Shinichi's house. So they spent all afternoon searching for it too, and nothing. As a last-ditch effort, this talk of phones reminds Shinichi of the mobile visual novel game. Aoi notices what he's doing and says that wouldn't work. This event isn't in the script. Aoi is getting worse by the minute. She's looking real exhausted and sick. Shinichi tells her not to give up yet, though. He calls Yutaro to come over and help. Shinichi brings a washcloth for Aoi, who's already unbuttoned her shirt. At first, Shinichi looks away to not see her naked, but Aoi forces him to look. She's an entity made to collect CGs and will disappear without them. She doesn't want to lose her happy memories of being with her only friends, so she begs Shinichi to get zappy with her. Yes. Well, I can't deny a girl who's asking for it so desperately. Shinichi goes downstairs to get the door. Shinichi thought it'd be Yutaro, but she asks why did he stay here. Before he can answer, she notices Aoi's shoes and can't believe Shinichi would choose to be with Aoi over Miyuki. Shinichi explains the situation but still doesn't trust him. Miyuki walks to his bedroom and Aoi is gone. Well, guess she doesn't need her phone anymore. Miyuki had it the whole time and Aoi left it at the batting cages. Aoi audibly gasps and Miyuki found her under the bed. So why? Why did Aoi make a move on Shinichi even though she wanted Miyuki and Shinichi together? Aoi makes it worse by saying she did try to seduce and kiss Shinichi. But now that she has her phone back, she'll load her save file and disappear forever. She walks outside as Shinichi chases after her, but not before Miyuki chases Shinichi to say,
私はあなたが好きなの。
all she wanted was to kiss Shinichi. Who cares about the play right now? Right as they were about to kiss, man, what is it with all these cock blocks? Even Miyuki's like, you're literally choosing a phone call over me right now? He does answer it, and it is Yutaro. He found Aoi in a disheveled state, and as a real bro, takes care of her for the night since he knows Shinichi is dealing with some stuff right now. Shinichi turns back to Miyuki, but now she is gone. The next morning at school, he meets Yutaro. Aoi isn't feeling good last night, but now she seems better. She's at Yutaro's home right now, resting. Yutaro promised he didn't touch her, so that's good news. Miyuki enters the class and immediately goes to Shinichi. She hands him a ticket to her play and Shinichi says nothing back. Shinichi says he'll most likely procrastinate on his decision on going to that play or not until the last moment. That afternoon, Yutaro checks on Aoi, but she's missing. They checked her usual spots and she's nowhere to be found. Without Aoi, Shinichi's life goes on as usual. He wakes up, goes to school, eats lunch, goes home, watches TV, and sleeps. Rinse and repeat. Miyuki acts the same as ever as well, with her Queen Bee persona pretending Aoi never existed. Same with her love confession yesterday to Shinichi for that matter. He doesn't even talk to him anymore. Feeling generally dissatisfied, he wishes he'd just disappear. So, 2 hours before the play, Shinichi aimlessly wanders around town. Everywhere he goes, they're tainted with the memories of Aoi and Miyuki. He vents at the batting cages but couldn't even hit the ball. He laughs at his own misery. That is until he hears a familiar Aoi appears out of nowhere, saying she missed you. A little too late to say that. Aoi asks, isn't today Miyuki's play? Shouldn't Shinichi be there to see it? What's the point? To see Miyuki kiss some other guy? Aoi notices the implication that Shinichi wanted to kiss her for himself. Shinichi berates Aoi. Him and Miyuki will never be a couple, and everything she believes in isn't real. However, Aoi makes a bet. If she hits a home run, Shinichi needs to tell Miyuki how he feels. She takes a swing, and an hour later, her swings get even worse. Shinichi was apparently so entertained by this, he did nothing but watch Aoi struggle for an entire hour. Aoi shouts God is real and that she will do it, but even she's starting to doubt herself. I'm not big into visual novel voice acting, but listen to this performance. You can feel the desperation in her voice.
葵ホームラン打てるの るはずなのに、どうして打てないの？
This entire time, Aoi tried calling God, but the phone never answered. Did God abandon her? At least if God didn't exist, her moments with Shinichi were real. She thanked Shinichi for teaching her all the emotions she has now. She needs something to believe in. So, help her or let her down? What if we just, fail? What if we just don't want to help her? Shinichi just can't find it himself to bring about any change and lets Miyuki do her play. Kissing another dude. He doesn't believe in any god or miracles. He turns back to see nothing. There used to be someone there, but now there isn't. He was just talking to himself the whole time. Miyuki's play came and went. Yutaro's Boys and Dreams Club is up and running, which is always bad news. A depressed Shinichi does nothing but mope on his bad decisions. He looks at the picture of him and Miyuki. He asks, what could he have done? But, of course, no one answers. And that's it. A quite downer ending where no one is satisfied, where Shinichi stays stubborn, leading him to change nothing. Riveting. Well, anywho, we do know exactly what he could have done. Back to that choice, you don't willingly choose to disappoint Aoi and help her believe in you. We're back at the batting cages, and Shinichi takes her bat. He feels his heart pounding. The balls fly at him, and he misses completely. Shinichi laughs at his absolutely shameful display. However, thanks to Aoi, he finally picked up a bat again. That's really all that matters. He's willing to pick himself back up and try again. Aoi thinks Shinichi's being totally suave and cool while cheering him on. She says he'll find a brand new Aoi on a different route. No time to waste, Shinichi runs to school and for Miyuki's play. He thanks Aoi for trying so hard for him. It's incredibly hard for him to admit, but he admits it now. He's always had lingering feelings for Miyuki, and tonight he's gonna make them all clear to her. The second he enters the gym, he shouts Miyuki's name. He lets it all out. He loves Miyuki. They embrace each other, and Miyuki's as happy as she could possibly be. Haru interrupts, and Miyuki comes up with the excuse, it's fan service for his audience, don't worry about it. The performance about to start, Miyuki has to leave, but Shinichi just wants to take her hand and run. He knows getting her on stage means her first kiss will be with someone else, but no. He wishes her good luck. During the play, Shinichi couldn't even focus on the plot. He can't sit still. At the climax, at the kissing scene, Miyuki noticeably slips. Shinichi can't take it anymore. He stands up from his seat, and just as Miyuki is about to kiss, a blackout happens. Miyuki finds Shinichi on the roof. The performance was cut short after the power outage. Shinichi claims he had nothing to do with it, though. Miyuki says, yeah, okay, but she found something at the scene. A kitty hairpin. The exact same one Shinichi gave to Aoi, heavily implying she caused the power outage. Speaking of her, Shinichi met her at the batting cages, and Miyuki hopes she's doing okay, even though they didn't leave on the best of terms. In her memory, they decide to go to the center of the universe. They admire the beautiful sight. Shinichi reminds Miyuki of the legend. If two people kiss on the school roof, their love will be eternal. While she doesn't believe in rumors, she's willing to try. Miyuki asks Shinichi if he's willing to make this the center of her universe, and you only get one choice. The next morning, Shinichi gets a wet dream about her girlfriend as she slaps him with a ladle to wake him up. She's cooking breakfast for him. Oh my god, is that a Kamen Rider pose? Kinda? Sorta? Close enough. She lets Shinichi eat after she gets her morning kiss. They both skip and hop all the way to the school. Knowing it causes scenes, they enter class together, practically revealing their relationship. Miyuki kicks him in, and every guy bullies Shinichi for getting so lucky. Yutaro expulsed Shinichi out of the Boys and Dreams Club since Shinichi has reached his dream. He officially graduates from the club. Oh my god, I just noticed Yutaro's face. I love visual novel sprites with really strained expressions. I need more. Anywho, speaking of dreams, Shinichi doesn't know what to do after being with Miyuki. Oh, Yutaro's little brother gets mentioned. How about getting Miyuki into cosplay? Yutaro gets super fired up about this and eats the letter of expulsion paper he just gave to Shinichi. During lunch, he doesn't know why Miyuki brought him up here. Well, duh, so they'd be alone together. Shinichi being too dense to get that. Shinichi notices her queen bee persona is gone. He's glad she could finally act like her true self. She's still scared of opening up herself to everyone, and Shinichi comforts her, saying if it gets too suffocating, she could act as free as she wants to him anytime. Shinichi takes a sip of his Yabele's tomato juice, but he doesn't know why he's drinking it, even though he doesn't even like it. Anyways, Miyuki asks if he's into cosplay, but Shinichi goes the boring route, saying no matter what she wears, she'll always be beautiful. He immediately backs down when she says maid outfits are totally gross though, and still wouldn't mind if she wore one. The days pass by, and it's Shinichi's birthday. Miyuki surprises him with a bouquet. With just Miyuki, it's not much of a party, but it's everything he wanted. The last time they celebrated was in grade school as friends, but looking at Miyuki now, they're lovers. He takes a bite of the cake and freezes up. It doesn't taste bad or anything, but it all feels too good to be true. Miyuki takes this chance to embrace him and spend the night with him. After that, Miyuki promises to never ever forget their first time together. She brought him a present, a maid outfit. And the scene ends before anything happens. At the batting cages, Shinichi hears a little black cat. They don't seem to recognize him though. They take this chance to take a photo of the cat, but Shinichi accidentally opens her gallery to see this photo. What's so mysterious is that no one is holding the phone, so how did they even take the picture? Miyuki snatches her phone back, embarrassed he might have seen her diary. As a punishment for looking at her phone, Shinichi has to hit a home run. On the very first try, the ball hit the home run target dead center. It was as if God did that just to mess with him. So I want to talk about the credits for a bit. The cat, Eru, and God share the same voice actor? Just a coincidence or not? I had a theory the cat was really important when I started playing, but I won't prove or disprove that here. Anyways, so that was the end of the Miyuki route. Kinda just a generic visual novel route. There's no prominent themes in this route, in my opinion. It was a story about two childhood friends, the nice guy Shinichi, befriending the talented but lonely girl Miyuki. She becomes popular and leaves Shinichi behind, becoming an awkward situation for the two in the present day. This is when he meets an eccentric girl, Aoi, who reminds him of the formerly lonely girl, then involves her into being good friends with each other. Aoi brought the two together, and because of their lingering feelings for each other, they were able to restart their romance, but Aoi is all alone now. She just quietly disappears. There were definitely some character arcs. Miyuki struggles with breaking her persona. That distances her away from Shinichi, and Shinichi has no self-confidence he'd ever be with Miyuki, so Aoi comes along and promises Miyuki would never cuck you, bro, and that's kinda where it all started. But what if Shinichi didn't choose Miyuki? What if he wanted to be Aoi? Where would that leave Miyuki? That'll all be answered in the Aoi route. So we press start and play through the entire beginning portion again. We're on the rooftop, we meet Aoi and Miyuki, pretends to be your girlfriend. Next morning, you reminisce your past relationship next to Miyuki. Aoi blackmails you. Aoi desperately tries to befriend Miyuki, and she eventually warms up to her. Oh wait, hold on a second. When you go to the cat shop the second time, only one of the hairpins is there. Well, you give it to Aoi anyways. Looking cute as ever. Miyuki tells you of her first kiss during the play, but that afternoon, Aoi tells you you'll never be cucked by Miyuki. I suppose you don't get the choice to stop her or let her do it this time around. You all head to the batting cages, stumble upon a cat walking home, and Aoi's missing that night. This is where the Miyuki route and Aoi route split. You get a choice to give up or not to give up looking for her. As usual, we'll go through the other route before the true route. So, we give up. Next morning, Aoi's desk is empty. Miyuki gets a worrying look. All Shinichi can do is forget about her, repeating, he'll get used to it soon. Yutaro is disappointed Shinichi stopped searching for her, telling him to remind himself what Aoi taught him. At night, he runs into Haru, who says Aoi has been visiting her recently. She's been trying to call God many times the past few days, but never reached them. Shinichi gets a message from Miyuki to go to the batting cages. He sees Miyuki bat. He comments that is when Miyuki has the most freedom in her life. She admits she hates Aoi. She was jealous that she could be free and was true to herself, so she wants to be the same. She confesses her love to Shinichi. Shinichi reciprocates her love, not because Aoi has been wanting them to be together for the longest time, but because Shinichi has loved her ever since they were children. They kiss. The play is about to start, and they're standing side by side on the rooftop. Look at this CG. Perfectly answers the CG that set up their relationship in the first place. Nice touch. They climb to the rooftop and kiss again right before the play. And then it's the whole MIYUKI route again, with no differences. Actually, there are quite a few choices in Aoi's route, and if you choose the wrong choice, you get routed back into MIYUKI's ending. There is a thematic relevance to it I'll get into much later. I will say this though, I don't think we see this CG in MIYUKI's regular ending, which is a shame, but you do get it here after giving up on Aoi, as a reward I suppose. Alright, we're back on Aoi's route. You don't give up, but we have no leads. So in a desperate move, Shinichi tells her about the mobile game visual novel that's been able to predict the future till now. She plainly says Shinichi is over his head and God doesn't exist. Wow, MIYUKI, you didn't have to be so forceful about your atheism. While Shinichi doesn't truly believe in it either, it still eats away at his mind at night and looks through the visual novel anyways. He leads him into the school gym, and sure enough, Aoi was there. Aoi goes through her speech of being scared of MIYUKI, what with her saying she'd cut ties with her, but this time around, MIYUKI isn't here to forgive her. Aoi is just a transceiver for God, a weirdo, a nobody with no friends. Shinichi shouts back, she does have a purpose. Shinichi will be her friend. Aoi couldn't hold back her tears after finally being accepted for what she is. She thanks Shinichi and hugs him.
ちがいいの。
After their reunion, they go to the convenience store with Eru to buy him some milk. This time, you both enter the store and have a cute scene with Haru getting attacked by Eru. Shinichi offers Aoi to sleep at his house tonight. It's kinda risky, she says. A CG might happen. She kind of wants it to happen though, after directly asking Shinichi to kiss her, and Shinichi's like, well, I'm out of here, and heads off to sleep. He's wondering how he's gonna explain all of this to MIYUKI. That morning, on their way to school, Aoi explains Eru is a transceiver cat who can look into different worlds, whatever that means. Yutaro is talking about his brother again, the part everyone loves. Shinichi suggests his brother find a girlfriend, and Aoi is 100% willing to kiss him for Yutaro's sake. I love Aoi's characterization so much, airheads are the best. On the rooftop, MIYUKI was kind of mad he used that mobile visual novel game to find her, and is hesitant to make up with Aoi, but he has a trump card. He flashes his phone that has a picture of Eru, and MIYUKI falls to his bribe. Seeing the picture though, he notices it's a picture in his house, and that meant Aoi must have spent the night there. Angry at first, asks Aoi if Shinichi tried to do anything to her. He didn't, but couldn't sleep anyways. Shinichi's house smells like Shinichi, which kept her up, and her heart was pounding. MIYUKI just says it. Aoi is in love with him. That afternoon, Aoi is doing her usual ritual, arm in the sky, calling for God. She's trying to patch herself, thinking her love for Shinichi is a bug. That was the last time they saw each other. MIYUKI and Shinichi are worried for her. They ask the principal about her, but no one knows anything. Not her family, nor where she lives, nothing about her. Makes me ask how or why she's even attending school, but okay. Shinichi misses her. He's repeating the words, he'll get used to it eventually, but he can't. He can't forget about Aoi. The next morning, Yutaro confronts you for giving up on searching for Aoi. He grabs you by the collar, calling you a coward. So this is exactly the scene when you did choose to give up on finding Aoi, but the difference is you're given a choice here. Search for your dreams or let it go. Let it go and it's back to the MIYUKI route, but if you search for your dreams, Yutaro is happy for you.
Yes!
I love this soundbite so much.
Yes!
Yutaro helps you that afternoon to find Aoi, but it was largely unsuccessful. Every day, after school, they go out and try to find her, but nothing comes of it. Shinichi starts thinking of why would she leave instead of where would she go to. She's always been so mysterious, and he never tried to ask her true feelings. She often mixed up reality and fiction that it's hard to tell when she's serious. He realizes he knew so little about her. Well, at least Eru is still here. That only reminds him of Aoi. He clings onto those memories. One night, Miyuki invites you to the batting cages. She admits she hates Aoi, but couldn't deny she was at least true to herself, unlike her, so she confesses her love. But before she does, a certain cat distracts him. Shinichi literally chooses a cat over Miyuki. I kinda like how Miyuki gets shafted multiple times by Shinichi over some trivial stuff. Miyuki makes Shinichi promise to hear her out later. Eru leads Shinichi all the way to the school rooftop. He does find Aoi, but she's lying down and not breathing. Call an ambulance or resuscitate her. My gut says let the professionals handle it, but the VN would want me to slobber my mouth over her, so I chose CPR. Shinichi tries and succeeds. Aoi questions if her transmission went to Shinichi instead of God. Aoi goes on her usual spiel. She's glitching out, and that's why she disappeared. He spent all of this time searching for her, and Shinichi asks himself, why did he search so hard for her? Earlier, he thought Aoi could be nothing more than a friend to him, but now she's much more. Even if she's glitching, was her emotions, being happy with him and Miyuki, and then getting sad when they might have cut ties with her, glitches as well? Shinichi thinks otherwise and just wants them to be friends again. Aoi jumps on Shinichi, asking for a favor. He'll probably forget about her tomorrow because she'll disappear, so she wants to get zappy, or as she says it. Shinichi wants to show his affection, but not in that way. He confesses his love. Aoi breaks down, crying, they got a bit too zappy. Will Shinichi still love her even with her faults and weirdness? Shinichi's answer was this. After that kiss, they gaze into the skies. Shinichi, hoping he can finally start getting to know Aoi, he sees her as his girlfriend now, not some eccentric girl. Next morning, she thanks Yutaro for taking care of her that time. She also admits they got zappy last night. Yutaro melts into a puddle. Miyuki enters the classroom, and instead of her usual greeting, she stares at Aoi. She asks Shinichi to come with her and is mad he didn't come back to hear what she said after he promised. She's waiting for hours. Shinichi tells her what happened with Aoi, and that he confessed his love to her. Oh, and they kissed. So Miyuki slaps him. That lunch, they eat without Miyuki, meaning no fancy bentos. They eat from whatever was from the vending machine. This sucks. Aoi does her but still no service. God is dead. Guess who showed up? Shinichi can barely believe it. Aoi tries to stay away from her. She's glitching. She fell in love with Shinichi. That wasn't meant to happen. Miyuki interrupts her. She doesn't hate her. In fact, they're still best of friends. Aoi hugs Miyuki back, not expecting to be forgiven. They start eating, and it's just like the old times. Miyuki asks if they had breakfast, and they respond they had the same breakfast, which wasn't a coincidence. They were living together. Aoi invites her. She could stay with Shinichi too, and she was coaxed into it if she could snuggle with Eru. About Miyuki's slap earlier today, she promises to clear things up. Shinichi mentions she seems like a different person than the one who slapped him this morning. This is my second time reading this visual novel to write about it, and my god, the foreshadowing. I was wondering at what exact moment was the catalyst for future events, and this is the most likely, after reading Shinichi's statement about her. Don't want to spoil you early, though. Miyuki goes on a strange philosophical tangent about fate and free will and the choices leading Shinichi up to here. Shinichi's old pet theory comes up. Life is a staircase. There are no choices, you just keep climbing step by step. Miyuki is glad. It means even if things were set, he'd love the same person. Miyuki makes Shinichi promise this. That love is eternal. I didn't get this the first time around, but she's talking about how you fell in love with Miyuki the first playthrough. So if Shinichi claims there are no choices and the same thing happens, that must mean he will fall in love with her again. You only get one choice. Promise. Anywho, Aoi interrupts him with a That afternoon, Aoi bought a book about cats. She bought other stuff, but keeps it a secret. Shinichi notices while walking home that Aoi hums when she's happy and droops when she's sad. Aoi's embarrassed. She must be glitching or something. She bets Shinichi's glitching because he's blushing. But he doesn't care if he's glitching. He doesn't care how the world sees them. He's happy with Aoi. That night, Aoi asks what CUMIN is. Shinichi is sure she's cooking, but Aoi's too shy to admit it. Let the girl cook! A bad idea, actually. Shinichi smells something burnt and Aoi screams downstairs. He eats her charred black stir-fry, Shinichi pretending it's good. He cries tears and compliments her cooking. Shinichi asks Miyuki what to cook, and he makes some good spaghetti with the leftover Yabale tomato juice. Aoi wants to make good food for him eventually, though. They'll never get married otherwise. Shinichi jumped at the word marry. Eru interrupts, and they promise to buy a name tag for him someday, maybe even with Miyuki. Aoi hesitates when Shinichi said Miyuki was coming along, but acquiesces quietly. They meet up, saying the whole script of the play changed because of the controversial kissing scene, but it's fine if she gets removed from the play. She has much higher ambitions. Miyuki screams and squirms at all the cat merch. Hilariously, the cat shop owner recognized everybody except the basic-ass Shinichi. Shinichi asks why Aoi is wearing her cat onesie, and she says cats can't summon lots of customers, and that is surprisingly some accurate marketing advice. Miyuki questions, since Shinichi and Aoi is a couple now, don't you do any dates together? Well, they should. One more thing, Miyuki mentions she's heard a rumor where Aoi visits the cat shop with a friend of hers frequently. Shinichi thinks more about this at home. She doesn't have any friends besides them, and she's not in any clubs. She's not home after school today, so where could she be? Aoi does come home and wanted to talk to him, but Shinichi doesn't want to talk to her right now. He feels like they're falling apart. Shinichi, my dude, maybe just listen to her. Next morning at school, Aoi is gossiping with a bunch of girls, and Yutaro asks if things are going fine between them. Is Shinichi insisting he's fine? Yutaro tells him of a rumor going around. Aoi is hanging out with someone else. Oh, sorry, Shinichi. He shouts they're just rumors. Aoi turns to look at him, and Yutaro apologizes. If he really did trust Aoi, he realized he wouldn't have shouted at all. Miyuki asks if Shinichi suspects Yutaro. Now that he notices, Aoi came back with milk from Yutaro's family convenience store. The pieces are fitting together. Miyuki, to cheer him up, gives him tickets to the play. Hopefully that'll get them together again. Miyuki says maybe he should save the game. Okay, thanks Miyuki. Will do. Aoi comes along and she's aware of the rumors spreading about her. She knows she's abnormal, she's weird and keeps getting into trouble. But one thing she is sure of is her love to Shinichi. She takes his hands and hopes Shinichi trusts her, that she loves Shinichi with all her heart. With this, Shinichi announces he's been planning a date for them. Aoi is ecstatic at the news, so much her battery overloads. On the day of the date, she is sick. How unfortunate. Shinichi wants her to rest. Because of this, Aoi wants him to have fun watching the play by himself. She'll wait for him to return. One more thing before she leaves, Aoi tells him her birthday, May 23rd. About that, she has a special code number God gave her. If anything happens to her, just call this number, 999-0523-0523. Sounds important enough to take notes of, so I did. Hopefully, I won't ever use it. Aoi wants him to know that Aoi loves him. Shinichi's like, okay, thanks. Eru, though, is blocking his path. You take this as a sign not to go to the play. He decides to lurk outside his house, and just as he didn't hope for, Aoi leaves. She whispers to herself, hoping Shinichi could forgive what she's about to do. He stalks her and she goes to the convenience store, specifically Yutaro's family-owned convenience store. Shinichi flashes through his memories, how Miyuki and even Yutaro talked about this, and the most painful of all, Aoi vying her love to him yesterday. He sees Haru come out of the store to meet with Aoi. Shinichi has no possible idea why they'd be together. So Shinichi goes to the play and Miyuki notices Aoi's absence and insists he calls them. She of course doesn't pick up on the home phone. Miyuki immediately knows what's up and they walk back to the convenience store. The play isn't important right now to either of them. Shinichi says Aoi's just going to the convenience store who Haru happens to work at, and Miyuki says he is the problem. Wait, did Miyuki just say he? Yutaro walks outside and begs for Shinichi's forgiveness because of Ryujiro's actions, his little brother. Miyuki comes out and says, the plot twist, that Ryujiro is Haru. Honestly, I should have seen this coming. Yutaro's little brother and Haru had minimal importance to the narrative, so I guess now it's clear that they're the same person. I'm just happy all the time I was reading Yutaro's quote-unquote comedic stories about getting hit on by his cross-dressing little brother had some use at least. Yeah, that's what that was building up to. That's not the only twist. Aoi is cheating on you for some other man, that man being Haru. By the way, from now on I'll be using he, him pronouns and the name Haru for this character because the visual novel calls Haru a man, so hope everyone's okay with that. Thinking back, it all makes sense. Yutaro was talking about how Ryujiro or Haru got a girlfriend. He is a big VN fan, so of course they talk about nerdy stuff that Aoi would not get from Shinichi. People saw Aoi go into the cat store with a friend of hers. Yeah, it all adds up. Miyuki immediately tells him to snap out of it. They don't have concrete proof Aoi is cheating, just that she's spending time with someone else behind his back. Okay, well, it sounds a lot like cheating, but we need to intervene them and talk to them. They go to their apartment. Before they enter, Miyuki asks, "Is this what Shinichi wants?" Shinichi doesn't answer. He takes the key and enter. The apartment is empty. There is proof someone was here, though. The bathroom was used because it was still humid. Shinichi looks around for a bit and steps on something. The definitive proof Aoi was in this apartment. So now that the cat's out of the bag, I want to get into my feelings about this. Getting cucked sure sucks. I did feel a lot of the same anger that Shinichi did against Aoi, how she lied behind his back to be with Haru. But also, it is Aoi. Aoi who has never really seemed human in the first place. It's possible she didn't know cheating was a bad thing, or she's doing this for some quote-unquote holy cause for her god. I can't completely hate her even now. I guess even if her intentions weren't malicious, she was being dishonest though, and was somewhat aware of her actions when she whispered for Shinichi's forgiveness earlier. We'll just have to see why she did this. Aoi asks him what he wants as a gift, like when Shinichi gave her a hairpin. Shinichi jokingly says, someone who would love her forever and ever, but that wasn't a gift. He says it's hard to think up of something immediately, and bets she'd have trouble thinking up of a present too. Oh, never mind. She loves Shinichi. She doesn't need anything else. Oh, whoops. Miyuki is calling him, so he goes. He's out of breath, disgusted at Aoi's actions. How could she act like she loves Shinichi when she knows she's being with someone else? So Shinichi says, "You know that plan Miyuki has? Yeah, they're gonna do that. You're gonna see that plan unfold." We hear more of Aoi's words of affection for Shinichi as they sing the happy birthday song. They blow out the candles and give out presents. Miyuki gives flowers. Aoi gives him tons of yabblies, which he actually doesn't like. Miyuki says, "Enough fun, let's get down to business." Yutaro has a super special ultra rare DVD which Aoi hopes isn't uncensored. Yutaro also brought his girlfriend, and it's Haru. Aoi shivers. She shouts she doesn't know her when she was asked. They all eat cake quietly. The tension is unbearable. Haru stands up to meekly congratulate Shinichi on his birthday and gives a present. It's Aoi's hairpin. Aoi panicking, insisting she's never lost it. Miyuki goes hard on Aoi, saying she bought another one and the clerk said she's often seen with Haru going there. Shinichi is loving her shocked and panicked expression being exposed. Aoi claims she's not close to Haru, but they play Yutaro's gift and see Haru and Aoi hug in the convenience store. This is when Shinichi gets to tear into Aoi. Was her entire act of loving him a lie? He knew they were both together in that apartment, and any time since Aoi said he loved Shinichi afterwards made him sick to his stomach, but he endured it to shove it all in her face right now. Aoi meekly says God made her do it, and Haru interrupts. It's her fault for falling along with Aoi. Shinichi has no sympathy and is furious at Haru as well. Aoi calls for God, but as always, no answer. Shinichi grabs her phone and smashes it on the ground. Your God told you to? That's such bullshit. Shinichi only wants one thing from her now, for her to get the fuck out of his house. Aoi is just going to disappear and no one will remember her. Shinichi does not feel sorry for her. He grabs Eru from upstairs and gives it to her, hoping she'd at least take care of Eru. Aoi will be forgotten from everyone in this world. But
君は覚えててくれるの？
Miyuki comforts him. She says it was destined for this to happen. It was fate. Love is eternal, right? This goes straight into the ending you play with Miyuki at the batting cages. So that was the last possible choice before you continue to another route. There are many other choices before this that will link back to Miyuki's ending, as I've said before, but I might as well explain it now. There are 13 choices between Miyuki's ending and the Aoi route. I didn't mention them all because it would just be monotonous and they all do the same thing. Point is, if you chose wrongly on any single one, you get routed back onto Miyuki's. That's why she says love is eternal. You're with Miyuki on the first playthrough. It's going to be the same for every other playthrough. It is statistically improbable to make the exact choices to get onto the Aoi route instead of be with Miyuki. So, how do we get onto Aoi's route? Let's get back to the last choice. Instead of telling Aoi to get out of your house, you want to know the truth. Any possible reason as to why Aoi would cheat on you. Her last chance to explain herself. Also shows at least the tiniest bit of sympathy from Shinichi after everything she did. Aoi asks for them to speak in private, and before they leave, Haru just wants to say Aoi left before they did anything in their apartment. Maybe Aoi cared for Shinichi more than she shows. Miyuki says she can forgive and forget, but only once. She leaves with a stern message. Love is eternal. Aoi keeps going on her video game speech. God is real and everything she has been saying is true. She's an avatar created specifically for this world and her main purpose is to pursue every protagonist and collect CGs. Once all the CGs are collected, her entire existence is useless and will disappear. That's why she needed recharging and getting zappy. That's why she pursued Haru to keep existing for those CGs. With that, she leaves. You get a choice. You're sure Aoi is lying or you don't know what to believe. Okay, actually the choice you don't know what to believe was the real last choice before the Aoi route, but it's not nearly as fun as getting to kick Aoi out of your house. You're sure Aoi is lying. She only dated you to get CGs. Aoi admits she betrayed and lied to you, but begs you to believe this one thing. Shinichi was the first person she had emotions for. She was desperate not to lose their memories together. Shinichi isn't sure what to believe anymore, but he takes a look at the girl crying her heart out in front of him and chooses to believe that these tears can't be fake. But why'd she stay quiet about it? It's because she knew Shinichi would hate her for it. She's just an avatar for this visual novel and for many other worlds. She's kissed many guys and even girls before. Aoi says Shinichi wouldn't like her if he knew this about her. Aoi is convinced this is game over for her, but Shinichi retorts, we do only get one life. That's why we love as passionately as we do. We can't fix our mistakes like in video games, but in exchange, real life lasts much, much longer, so we can try as much as we want. With this new resolve, he takes out his phone to call Haru. Aoi says to Haru she wants to be with him. Hearing it's with Shinichi's phone, he is okay with this. Haru wants to know how Aoi feels first. Aoi loves Shinichi too, right? Why be with him? So Haru confesses his love all over again. He's crazy for Aoi and will do anything for her. So Aoi returns her love. Shinichi watches her go upstairs with Haru, who went to his house, as Shinichi hangs out with Eru. Shinichi believes in Aoi, that she needed CGs, so she lets Aoi be with Haru. I'm just gonna say the other solution was to make the CGs yourself and get zappy, but okay. Shinichi's a weakling. Shinichi knows he just made the decision to let Aoi be with Haru for CGs, but she just can't let this happen and do nothing. He admits he's a petty man. He goes upstairs and Aoi says she's recharged and full of zappy. Looking at her, Shinichi recontextualizes Aoi's love for him. She's willing to go behind his back to force herself to be with someone else for Shinichi's love, and bear that guilt all alone. Haru left already, by the way. Aoi notices Shinichi came and says let's go on a date soon, and Shinichi promises they will. He can't believe just this morning he was so full of anger and hate toward her, but now able to forgive her. It must be fate. Fate is why Aoi and Shinichi are together right now.
違う。
Oh, seems like someone doesn't agree. From under the bed, Miyuki comes out and stands up. Her expression is blank. Shinichi betrayed her. She leaves to get something. Aoi asks, why is Miyuki here? Is it because Shinichi loves her? Will he abandon Aoi? She cares about Miyuki too, but she tells Shinichi not to think about her right now and be with her. That sounded a lot like Eru just now. He hears footsteps coming. It must be Miyuki. About Miyuki, if she went from under the bed, she must have been here from even before Aoi and Haru came and witnessed them get zappy right under them. Shinichi turns around. She says it's a real shame what happened to Eru. What the fuck did she do to Eru? She gladly shows them what she did. Aoi's head splits open. Her blood is everywhere. Shinichi feels blood trickle from his forehead into his eyes.
ねえ、しんいち。私からのプレゼント、まだだったよね。あげる。Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear しんいち。Happy birthday to you.
All four of Shinichi's limbs are broken now. Since Aoi's dead, there's not much fun in hitting a corpse, Miyuki says. Blood seeps into Shinichi's eyes, so he can't see anything or wipe the blood away. But that's convenient, as Miyuki says this.
見たい？見たいの？あなたの目で。こんなにグロい画像を見せたら、倫理審査で弾かれちゃうかもね。モザイクかかっちゃうわ。
Thanks, Miyuki. I would have had to censor it myself, so thanks for doing my work for me. Slowly, he opens his eyes. He sees something that used to be Aoi. He calls Miyuki insane. She replies it'd be weirder if she wasn't. Miyuki seems like she's not looking at Shinichi, but looking past him. She explains back when Shinichi chose to be with Aoi that night, and when Miyuki invited him to the batting cages, that was the point Miyuki lost her mind, especially after he promised to love her for eternity that night on the rooftop, her first kiss. Shinichi has no idea what she is talking about, but she knew Aoi must be hiding something big, so she snooped, and sure enough, she was cheating on Shinichi. She revealed it by forcing him to go to the convenience store that night. When Shinichi swore revenge on Aoi that night at the apartment, she was so happy she could fly. She even helped him plan it too. So when he wanted alone time with Aoi, Miyuki is panicking and eavesdropped. When Aoi went upstairs, she hid under the bed. Seeing Haru enter, she was over the moon. That must mean Aoi was still cheating on him, Shinichi would hate her for it, and Miyuki gets him all for herself. That is, until Shinichi walked into the room. All she could do was stay hidden under the bed as she heard Aoi and Shinichi being all lovey-dovey above her, as she heard the person she loves be with another person. She believed in him, the person who promised to love her forever, betrayed her right then and there. So how could she have possibly stayed sane after that? Shinichi does not understand what is happening. He didn't betray her. Miyuki wasn't talking to Shinichi, though.
What the f?
Yeah, this jump scare got me. So, okay, she wasn't talking to Shinichi this entire time. She was talking to you, the player. You were the one who promised your eternal love when the first route and made choices Shinichi never would have. You only had one job, to love her forever and ever, so she wants you to proclaim your love to her. You either choose to say you love her or you hate her. The outcome is the same. She dismisses what Shinichi says, but she is sure you feel differently. You've betrayed her. Now she will have her revenge. She puts the bat on his scrotum. She knows Shinichi is just a self-insert character, but her heart disagrees. Don't worry, you can just start over. Time to patch the bugs out.
もしもし、神様？私の記憶をセーブして、そろそろ始めましょう。私がスマホで改造したゲーム。君と彼女と彼女の恋のアップデートをね。ハッピーバースデー。
What the hell just happened? Let's go through this slowly. So, Miyuki was aware she was inside a visual novel the whole time. The first route, you as the player promised to love her forever. The second time you play, you do Aoi's route and betray her, and then she goes insane. I mentioned earlier it was statistically improbable to even get onto Aoi's route because you had to choose the right choices 13 times in a row. Anytime you get it wrong, you're back on the Miyuki route. That's how hard it was to get onto Aoi's route, and the fact you fought through it, and narratively speaking as well, you forgave Aoi after knowing she cheated on you. It's kind of a miracle you still choose Aoi. That's why it hurts that much harder for Miyuki. I think the way they revealed it was magnificently terrifying as well. Nothing this brutal even comes close before, so seeing the screen turn red and seeing this pastel cutesy art style portray bloody clothes and an insane Miyuki was very surprising and shocking. I love this sprite, by the way. The standout moment is of course when it becomes aware of the player. Usually fourth wall breaks are used for comedy, but I've never seen it used for horror. Oh, and that this fourth wall break actually being narratively important is cool. Probably the only time breaking your immersion works to its favor. I moved just a bit farther away from the screen out of fear Miyuki would literally jump out of it. This part was my peak for the visual novel for sure. Okay, moving on. Miyuki resets the universe. We see the beginning scene again. Shinichi finds himself on the stairs up to the roof reciting his life is a staircase mantra. One interesting difference, the text box looks very different. I thought this could be a reference to something, some old classic visual novel, or this is how the text box looks during production. I have no idea. Tell me if you know. I tried to dial Aoi's number immediately. 999-0523 twice, and nothing. You don't meet Aoi this time, Miyuki greets you. Miyuki says that's her old phone and she bought a new one, so just throw that phone out. If you refuse, she snatches the phone anyways and throws it out. Breaking news, phone falls from the sky and kills someone. Anywho, turns out you've been dating for 2 weeks now. She hopes she's good enough for Shinichi. You just say no. The screen turns black and Miyuki tells you to wake up. Miyuki's next to you. Game still launched. She scolds you for sleeping on the sofa, so you go to the bedroom.
新一、聞こえる？聞こえないわよね。あなたはもう眠っているはずだもの。でも、君は聞いてる。そうでしょ？セーブデータは使えない。プロローグも少し違ってた？最初から会えない人もいたんじゃないかしら。それは私が分岐の処理をいじったからなの。君には罰を受けてもらわないとね。
She greets you when you wake up and tests you. She doesn't like liars, so she wants you to profess your love for all eternity. I said no the first time, and she asks again. You say no, she asks again. You say no, she asks again, and assumedly you do all this for all of eternity. So I restarted and said yes this time. Of course, Miyuki knows exactly what you did. She has access to her memories in every route and the backlog of your old save files. So why don't you just accept it? This is when I realized you're under her control and you can't do anything about it. She threatens to take over the narrative and keep you hostage for all of eternity because she just can. Well, guess we're stuck here forever with her. Might as well enjoy it. The same routine yesterday. Shinichi sleeps on the sofa, then gets scolded and sleeps in bed. Once he awakes, he's asked, what should they do today? You say, give Aoi back. So she actually does. She's a cat now. You grab her tail, she moans, la-dee-da. She isn't the real Aoi, though. In this world, she is just a visual novel heroine. Shinichi understands. I just had a thought. In English, we have capital case letters, so when Miyuki refers to you, the player, she uses capital letters. I don't know how they do it in Japanese. That's the thought. The same routine yesterday. Shinichi sleeps on the sofa, then gets scolded and sleeps in bed. The next choice, you want to be with Aoi. She tells you to give in. It'll be much easier for you if you just love her. Shinichi asks, why is his beard so long? Miyuki says it's been a week since you arrived here. She gives you a gift and kisses you. Randomly, we get into some scene with Miyuki in the afternoon on the riverbank. She talks about her newly acquired water oven, but you see a cardboard box. Miyuki vehemently tells you not to pay it any mind. This is a callback to the scene on the riverbank where you find an abandoned cat with Aoi way back when. Shinichi here doesn't remember that and wonders why Miyuki cares about this box so much. She asks you, what's more important, her or the box? And we'll say, the box, of course. Love this Miyuki belittling. She smashes the box with her bat and you hear a meow. When you open the box, though, it's empty. Miyuki talks about Schrodinger's cat out of nowhere. Why did Schrodinger choose cats for his experiment? Maybe he had an allergy to them. Miyuki explicitly says she wants to kill cats for other reasons. So, about Schrodinger's cat, if you don't know, Schrodinger's cat is mentioned so often in visual novels it's kind of became a trope. This guy makes a good video about this, but point is, Toteno is a meta-visual novel parody thing, it of course just had to mention it. The same routine, yesterday, Shinichi sleeps on the sofa, then gets scolded and sleeps in bed. It is the same routine every day. You get a choice. Be with Aoi. She says it doesn't matter. She's the one who actually gets to choose. What scene shall they play now? We're on the street. They talk about their theater performances and Haru, but Miyuki's stomach growls, so they go buy some food at the convenience store. Yutaro, seeing Shinichi with Miyuki, calls him a criminal. Shinichi says, don't worry, they're not even holding hands. Miyuki says, they could, and you choose no. Yutaro continues to incel rage. They buy chicken and Miyuki knew exactly the price. On top of price tax, she just memorized that. Shinichi noticed something weird in his bag, and it was some candy Miyuki likes Yutaro slipped in. Yutaro wanted to help and proclaims his happiness is important to him. What a bro. Alright, now that two scenes have played, I'll explain the loop that is happening right now. Shinichi sleeps back on the bed, wakes up, you get a choice, a scene with Miyuki starts. Happens over and over again for all of eternity. This is Miyuki's phantasm marble, her ideal reality. She loves you so much, all she wants to do is spend time with you and nothing else. As a player, you're subject to all of these CGs with her and you're trapped. So, that sucks. I won't cover every single one of these scenes. If you open up the memories option in the pause menu, you can access all of the scenes anytime you want. I'll only do two, then recap the others because I'm not gonna bore you, unlike Miyuki. There is no progression in any of these scenes. Well, they are important in a way in a later scene, but there's no point in covering all of them. So, here's the recap. In Holding Hands to School, you get the choice to hold hands with her or not, then Haru interrupts to greet you, and he trips over thin air. In male versus female relationships, Yutaro keeps calling Shinichi a normie, but wasn't he into Aoi or Haru or something? He blushes and runs away, and Miyuki says, shouldn't Shinichi apologize? Shinichi says, nah, and Miyuki replies she'll never understand men's relationships. In Lunch on the Rooftop, they talk about favorite foods. You get asked if you prefer tea or Yabelis. In rehearsal, Miyuki writes a script where a guy falls in love with a girl who turns out is evil, so he goes for his childhood friend. Very narcissistic of her. You get to kiss her here or save it for the debut performance. In Sweets, they talk about her eating ice cream and getting fat, then she threatens to hit him with a bat to lose calories. You get asked if it would be annoying if they got interrupted in their conversation just now. In Catnip, they window shop and notice two cute kitty hairpins. You give one as a gift to Miyuki. In Bookstore, you look at her book haul and choose either a cooking book or a cat guide. She keeps something hidden and Shinichi teases the porn mag, and she responds, oh, okay. In Batting Cages, Miyuki pitches and almost hits Shinichi's face, but he predicts the next one will be a curveball and home runs. As a reward, you choose Miyuki or Aoi. In Homework, you do homework and Shinichi teaches her chemistry. She leaves you and you get to mess with her phone. You can call God who explains the situation and exactly what you should do. It's an interesting conversation, but I'll cover it later on. There's a choice to launch the game too, and you see a H scene between Haru and Aoi as Miyuki jacks you off. Wow, this is just the dream situation, huh? If only my girlfriend would do this to me while I read visual novels. But I'd have to get a girlfriend first, so... In skipping class, on the rooftop she asks if you want to skip class with her, then you take a selfie. In birthday, it's Shinichi's birthday and he wishes this moment to last forever. Miyuki bought a maid outfit but was too embarrassed to wear it. She teases us by waiting for next year, on his next birthday. Damn it. In cleanup, during class, they do some cleanup and put the broken desk on the roof. They reminisce of the town they grew up in after looking at the view. In dinner, it's dinner time and you choose to order takeout or cook dinner for yourself. If you cook, you can let Miyuki help or kick her out. Okay, finally that's all of the memory scenes. One more thing, at night, Miyuki will sometimes interrupt you with a scene like this.
ねえ君、悲しんでる？怒ってる？それともこんなゲーム投げ捨てたいと思ってるかしら？
Since Shinichi is asleep, she talks to the player directly. Usually it's when you choose a pro-Aoi choice and reveal some information about herself. For example, one time she revealed she was the one who actually planted the kitty hairpin at the apartment that day. What a bitch. Okay, so when does this loop end? Well, the choice before every scene did matter. I think I chose pro-Aoi choices every time, first time around, and I got this new scene. She asks why. Why do you hate her so much? So she desperately asks you to kiss her. I said no. Then she tells me to perish. She'll program the game so it'll loop forever until you choose to kiss her. You try to fight back, but... In the pause menu, you can't do anything. So, I quit. Oh, by the way, whenever you do quit, this happens. Sorry for the awful bitrate quality, but yeah, Aoi is trying to contact you. She still exists, somewhere. So you reopen the game, don't kiss her, but you fight again and something different happens. She misses and Shinichi runs away. There's a heavy padlock. She approaches and Shinichi deflects her bat with a nearby umbrella and pushes her to the ground. Shinichi tries to find the keys, and now that she's vulnerable, she just wants to ask why is she doing this. She tells him he'd never understand, but why not? They'd been together this whole time. Hearing that, Miyuki tenses up a bit at him saying being together, and then quickly bites Shinichi's earlobe and shoves him off. Unluckily, he didn't get the keys, but did get her phone. He locks himself in the bathroom. Of course, he can't even access the phone, but the other option is to unlock through security questions, before he can even do anything.
どうして君は私の愛に応えてくれないの？私こんなに君を愛してるのよ。愛しているのに殺さなきゃならないのよ。愛してる人を何度も何度も何度も何度も。もう私頭がおかしくなっちゃいそうなの。ねえ、君は私を助けてくれないの
？I reopen the game and I keep pressing the don't kiss her option. Hearing her response makes me kinda sad. She's utterly desperate for this kiss and you just deny it over and over again. 10 out of 10 voice acting.
お願いだからねえ、私にキスしてください。
Eventually she breaks down. If you love your precious Aoi so much, she might just delete Aoi completely. So she goes off to do that. You're given the choice to search for Miyuki or Aoi, and of course I've been choosing the Aoi choice the whole time, so I will. What's hilarious is, again, in this world, she's just a VN character, and Shinichi knows as much. He could use this chance to figure out what Miyuki's deal is, so why Aoi? You get the choice again, and now Shinichi is just like, why not? Let's go buy an Aoi figure or something. So he goes outside. He meets Yutaru, who's confused when you say you're going to Aoi, who is a video game character. She is real, and she is staying at Yutaru's place. Yutaru leads you to her. On the way, he asks if Shinichi's okay after the accident. He doesn't know anything about it. Yuki kept visiting him all the time. Shinichi now, by the way, has long hair and a beard now. They're in the convenience store and meet Haru. He's Aoi's girlfriend now, and he says Aoi's in the back. A girl with her hand raised enters the store. It's Aoi. Shinichi couldn't believe this. Isn't she just a video game character? They both go outside as she wants to ask him something. How did you find out that this is all a video game? Suddenly,
神様世界の中心なの
Aoi sprints to the center of the universe. The world is getting an update patch. Everything will change. She says once it will, the game will become reality. Okay. Can't wait. Shinichi figures it out. If she says the game will become real, does that mean everything that's happening right now is part of some game? And that Miyuki really will erase Aoi? On the rooftop, they realize they were too late.
これで世界はアップデートされる。あなたは虚構の存在になるの。
Miyuki is finally honest about everything she has been doing until now. She has been manipulating and drugging Shinichi. With God's help, they induced Shinichi with a drug that blurs reality and fiction. Aoi is starting to vanish and it's already too late.
無駄なのもうゲームオーバーなのバイバイなの
She tries to comfort you. It's just one of the bad endings. Gotta move on to the next route. But she asks herself, why is she crying? This is their first time meeting. Or is it? Aoi's memories are flooding back, memories of a different route.
愛し合ってそれで
All of a sudden, she doesn't want to disappear. Shinichi shouts at Miyuki. Why is she doing this? She admits at least she's messed up, but you are too. You promised your eternal love that night, and then you go and betray her. Aoi's faint voice reminds you of the code number. And then... Is Miyuki truly happy now? Shinichi climbs up and they get close to each other. Just so Shinichi could steal her phone. He bolts down the stairs as Aoi's voice rings in his head. Miyuki gives chase, saying there's nowhere to run. Mysteriously, she's not running, but is always one step ahead of him. He decides to lock himself in a classroom. He just needs enough time to make a phone call. I frantically put in the code number. Shit, I didn't do it right. Miyuki makes fun of you for forgetting the number, though I only misspelt it. It wouldn't work anyways. She can program this world however she wants so that the code doesn't mean anything. Oh, and Miyuki was able to catch up with him through reading the backlog. We have not escaped Miyuki's clutches. We're back in the apartment. The world has been updated. We stay living in her world forever. We failed to escape. But, did you know, we could have escaped back then? That there was a true number that would have let us leave. The game explains how to get that number, but that comes way later, so you as a player were not meant to even know about that number at this point in the game. So, we'll come back here after the game ends. Back in the loop of things, we're back in Miyuki's loop. Time to be stuck here forever. Again. But hold on, in one of the scenes we can mess around with her phone. We could unlock it via security questions, but Miyuki will be back at any minute, so Shinichi gives up for now. Going through the loop a bit more, there is some new dialogue. You decide to indulge her a bit, and in return she wears a maid outfit for you. In the dark, where you can't even see her. What's even the point? That is until the DLC. Okay, more new stuff. In the cooking scene, Shinichi tries to find some sugar, but instead finds a mysterious small bag. Shinichi sprinkles whatever was in the small bag to his dish, and Miyuki said it needed more sugar. No, it never tells you what was in that small bag. Very likely the drugs used to induce Shinichi, though. Miyuki is getting kind of drowsy and sleeps right then and there. You take advantage of the situation immediately and grab her phone. So, Those security questions. There are 10 and you can only mess up twice. So these security questions were about all of the scenes that MIYUKI forced you to be in during the loop. In each and every scene, you learn a random little detail about her, and you were meant to remember that. Then it'll ask you some random thing about her, and you input the right answer in these security questions. Believe it or not, guys, I did it first try. Yeah, hold your applause. So, you decide to call God.
もしもし
Shit. She notices you did it on your first try. Turns out no online walkthrough could have helped since it was randomly generated. Okay, so I did check an online walkthrough, and sure enough, in our playthrough, the reason Schrodinger chose cats was because he might have had allergies, but according to this guy's walkthrough, it's because of mysterious powers. Huh. Didn't expect this VN to test my memory. She's impressed you knew her that well and decides to treat you by telling you the truth. Get ready, guys. She is about to tell us the truth. At Shinichi's house, he finds himself with Aoi. They've been together for a long time. On the TV is MIYUKI. She's a promising, up-and-coming actress with a successful career in front of her. But Aoi notices she's never had any romantic drama roles. Considering how popular she is, it's kinda weird. Anyways, Aoi cooks some beef simmered in yabulays and the game ends. Suddenly, you're with MIYUKI, who seems to have lost her memories of Shinichi. Next thing you see is you're with Haru, and recalls that they've stopped imminent destruction by stopping whatever Aoi's doing and her universe update patching Red Sky stuff. God also turned Haru into a girl. She says it must be fate, and the game ends. Yutaru calls you. He's in college, and Shinichi's working at the cat store. He reminisces of his long-gone relationship between two girls in high school. Currently, one of them, MIYUKI, gave up on theater and went into med school. Shinichi's working with Aoi, though, in the cat store. To which Yutaru tells him to, die. Game end. It's been 20 years since last he's been in his hometown. He revisits his old school and finds two people on the rooftop. Shinichi brought some alcohol. The sky is a red crimson, just like he remembers it. Oh, some other things are turning crimson.
私を選ぶの
葵を選ぶの
私たちはそう迫って
新一は選べなかった。
Turns out they were dead for a long time. He just wanted to stay friends forever. He was stuck on the roof until he was forcibly removed and took the psyche ward. 20 years later, he finds himself on the same rooftop. Now he finally accepts his situation. Snapping back to reality, those were all possible endings. Endings that might have happened if you didn't choose her. In all of the endings, there was something she noticed. She was never truly happy. The only way she could have achieved true happiness is with Shinichi, and there's a very good reason why. You're taken back to the scene where Aoi updated the universe the first time, so MIYUKI wouldn't cuck Shinichi. This moment cursed MIYUKI, so she can never be truly happy without Shinichi. In the end, it was all your fault for letting her do it, but she has no regrets. After all, every moment spent with Shinichi is when she is the happiest. She forgives him for calling God. He only wanted to know the truth, so she just wants you to say it. I love you. The text extends beyond the text box. But then...
ダメなの
Ultimately, she's unsatisfied. She can make Shinichi say whatever she wants. But you, the one on the other side of the screen, you're the one MIYUKI is obsessed with. You get the choice to profess your love, but it doesn't matter. It's just a mouse click after all. She'll never know your true feelings. But ultimately, she believes in you. She believes in the eternal love you promised. She wants to feel you. And, she remembers each time you've kissed her. It's all recorded on her diary. I let MIYUKI profess her love herself.
君が好き大好きだよだからずっと一緒にいてくれるよねこれからも永遠に永遠にお願いだよ
I know it's just a girl on the other side of the screen, but the way Totono explicitly makes MIYUKI love specifically you, the player, not through the main character, and say all these lovely things and is very close to the screen right now, it feels nice, Feels good to be loved. Anyways, time to betray her again. At night, you wake up while she's in the bathroom. You pick up her phone, but you mysteriously hear a cat meow. Shinichi, who knows nothing better, wants to take cute cat pictures for Miyuki. Damn, they did dirty on Shinichi since he's completely dictated by the player's actions, but doesn't have the same knowledge we do. He just makes up the stupidest excuses for the things he does. It has like a level of comedy to it. Miyuki hears the door open and asks where you're going. Shinichi just wants to take some pictures of this cute cat. What's wrong with that? But she begs you not to leave. We don't listen to her, please. On the way, instead of reading like usual, you have to click on the text like it was a choice. This clearly means that the player is choosing to do all these actions, disconnecting the player's actions from Shinichi's actions. You know Eru is a transceiver cat, and you leave to be at the center of the universe. Suddenly, you get a call from God. The sky turns red. God infers your intentions to roll back the universe, but only Aoi and Miyuki have that authority. Aoi is almost completely deleted from this universe. She lives from electromagnetic waves in the air. I actually want to touch upon this. Allow me to tangent a bit. There is this concept steeped in Japanese internet culture of something called denpa, and denpa literally translates to electromagnetic waves, but it's more commonly associated with the phenomenon of people who feel disconnected from reality, as if they were controlled by these electromagnetic waves. With the advancement of technology and its heavy use of electromagnetic waves going through the air, so we could communicate to each other, it's kind of scary to think that all around us are these invisible waves we can't detect but ultimately feel. It is associated with telephone and electricity poles as well, since they are also in the air and used for communication, and it's all been leading up to this image. This is a picture I took of the road while I was on the way home. I'm doxing myself. I took it because I didn't know these zebra walk stoplights buttons existed in Indonesia, but then I noticed something weird. Looking up, there were tons of these black lines going across the sky. I know these poles existed the whole time, but I never bothered to look up and see how they all construct this web that I'm stuck under. It's one of those things you never notice in daily life, but when you do, you can't stop seeing it. Anyway, it just makes a lot of sense for Aoi to be stuck in these electromagnetic waves, as this invisible force that surrounds us makes use of the fact that denpa is heavily associated with visual novels as well. So, Aoi's almost gone, but Miyuki is still here. Problem is, she can just read the backlog, so whatever number we get from the visual novel we can't use as the code number to bring back Aoi. But the keywords were from the visual novel, so God just needs to send a number outside the visual novel, in your universe. You get this number from the included game manual. Yeah, this thing was important. Just gotta say, it was a cool idea to have the game manual actually be significant to the plot. After that, you get God's number, which is just given to you, but the last one is something called Miyuki's variable. What could that be? Well, you can check her diary for that. It actually has some interesting information regarding Miyuki's experience through all of this. Her earliest entry was that she found Aoi's phone with God on the line and she decides to pick it up. Now, she's starting to feel that Aoi's God might be true after all. Using God might be the only way for her and Shinichi to be happy. She takes notes on how to save and load and transforms into the Miyuki we know now. She loves not Shinichi, but for the player now. She's crazy about you. So it hurts when you betrayed her, with her diary entry being written haphazardly. Anyways, you get Miyuki's variable. The equation to get the code number is God's number minus the number on the game manual, then added Miyuki's variable. Voila. But what if? What if we just don't put it in? God is just like, alright, do whatever you want, but God reminds you, you are at the center of the universe. If you decide to come back, you can try again. Shinichi gets his consciousness back and has no idea what he's doing. All of a sudden...
私と一緒のこの世界に残ってくれて本当に大好きなんだよだからお願い離さないで私と一緒にずっと
This exact moment is when I gained some sympathy from Miyuki. Sure, she was cursed because of your actions, but she decides to mutilate and torture you for eternity after that. But here she finally shows some vulnerability and genuine happiness that you didn't leave her. She's a broken person who needs you. She was cursed to not be able to be truly happy without you. So if you leave, she knows she'll never be able to love anyone else, and that's just kind of a sad world to live in. I'm slowly leaning towards liking Miyuki ever so slightly. They kiss passionately under the stars. She doesn't want you to say anything. She's just happy you decided to stay. They question why the cat led him here, and it's probably nothing important. Back in bed, Miyuki thanks you for choosing to stay here, to stay with her forever. She wants the player to quit the game, to leave them on this happy ending for her. She says this because after this, it's just the usual loop. Ideally, the player would play her out indefinitely and spend time with her forever, but the second best thing is just leave the game on this part with her at the end of the day. Of course, we won't do that. We're doing the genocide betrayal route. You get another chance to leave the apartment and go back to the rooftop, but right before you leave...
結末を見るためだったの?
While I said one particular scene was the peak of this visual novel, this is my favorite moment. Moments where it knows exactly what you're doing. Miyuki is aware of it and uses it to scare you. The main strength of this visual novel, in my opinion. This time it guilts you into giving up progressing just so you know what happened if you did give up, which is exactly what I was doing, and damn, it hurt because we saw Miyuki cry her heart out for you that night. Well, can't stop now. We walk over to the school again, we do the entire process again, and we put in the number. It's Muko Aoi, back from nothingness. Shinichi doesn't know why he's crying, but Aoi knows now that those are happy tears. Out of nowhere... Miyuki angrily squints at Aoi as she has a stern expression. She wants the world to turn back to normal. Miyuki refuses. She finally confronts her about cursing her to be with Shinichi. Aoi does deeply regret that she did that, but because of that, she wants to fix the world back to normal, because Miyuki is a close friend to her as well. She understands Miyuki. She wasn't able to save or load before then, but we only get one shot at life. She's afraid. She admits she is scared, but of course she is. She can't just go back. She doesn't want to lose all of her memories. The player knows their mistake, that ultimately they're the one who broke Miyuki to her breaking point when Aoi updated the universe that day. Aoi interrupts. It'll be okay for Miyuki, because Aoi will disappear after the universe resets. Her memories will be synced. Before, she wasn't acting correctly. She fell in love with Shinichi when she wasn't meant to. She was unsynced. She's just an avatar for this world, so her memories will merge with all the other heroines and become lost. She was prepared to come back to this world just to disappear again. It's her punishment. But even if she disappears, it doesn't change the fact that they were together. She's going to roll back the universe, all for her best friend Miyuki, for her sake. The last thing she asks is for you to say you love her one last time. Interestingly, at this point, another character makes himself known. Shinichi. He's gained all of the memories from the other routes and is aware you exist now. He only has one thing to say. You can't save or load anymore because that would be tantamount to betraying them. You can only make this choice once. That's just how the game is coded. But if you do try to read both endings, he says flat out, you will be betraying them.
お願いなの。
Okay, who will I choose? Miyuki has kind of been, a little crazy for a while, and throughout that entire time I've been thinking about Aoi. But now we know she does it because of your actions. You not only vowed your eternal love, then betray her, but also chose to curse her to never cheat on you. So, it's not like it's all her fault. Aoi, though, has tragic circumstances herself. As an avatar who's only meant to be a side character, she wasn't meant to love you, but she does anyways. In a way, it's even worse than Miyuki, who at least had a chance to love you, but she was never meant to love you. And now after the world resets, she's gonna disappear. So, I make my choice. She was the one we've been fighting for this entire time, and I frankly just like hanging out with her more. She thanks you from the bottom of her heart. Now she has no regrets. You want to see her again. They haven't even gone on any dates yet. Miyuki interrupts. You will get a chance to meet her again. You can see each other as much as you want, but she doesn't elaborate. Aoi shouts Miyuki's name.
葵とみゆきは親友だよね。親友だから幸せを祈ってあげてるんでしょ。勝手に幸せに暮らしなさい。
Miyuki leaves. The player begs for Aoi to stay just a little longer, but no, she can't stay. Before she does, she says every moment she's had with you was pure joy. She lifts her arm and...
バイバイなの。
I've actually missed this text box. It's the same scene we've seen twice before. Shinichi is called to the rooftop and finds a phone. Entering Aoi's code number does nothing. Oh well, Miyuki comes to the rooftop. She says she feels the same way about you. They were close as kids, but now they've drifted apart. Though that all changed when Miyuki says...
私も新一が好きだよ。
Embarrassingly, Shinichi said Yutaro was the one who called her up here, and she says, oh, of course. Shinichi just says, yep, too good to be true, I'm just a loser, and she's the popular girl. Abruptly, we take a dive into Aoi's phone. This is the gap between worlds. All we can do is watch. Shinichi and Miyuki will never get a deeper relationship. Anyways, a wild Aoi appears. They will get closer together. Just send him this photo. Shinichi thought he'd never be with Miyuki, but this image will change his mind. You send a picture. Now, that is part of their story. Aoi bids her goodbyes, but the player figured something out. She'll just be sent to another world. Point is, in all of these different worlds, the protagonist will romance the heroine, aka her. She's just an abstraction. Her memories will be connected to every other heroine. A part of her will be in every heroine deep down. She will live on. With this, she makes a promise.
また会ったら約束果たすの。葵、一緒にデートするの。ずっと待ってるの。君のことを思いながら世界の外に電波発信してるの。だから The
player promises they'll find their happy ending in another game. The heroines in those games will act as vessels for Aoi's love, and it will give the endings more depth. Then the credits will roll, but he'll meet her again soon enough. Oh, me and Aoi will find ourselves in a different visual novel, she says. Well, time to boot up what's been on my backlog for a while. Oh hell yeah. Oh god no. Oh fuck. Shit. I love you, Aoi. Sorry for the grim joke, but yeah, that's Aoi's ending. It does present an interesting idea, the idea that Aoi is actually just an abstraction of the visual novel heroine, and like her soul will be split among them all. That's their answer to not having a good ending here. They just shipped the responsibility of a good ending in another visual novel by saying Aoi's being was part of that heroine as well. I had a cynical take here, but I had a change of heart. I might not realistically think of Aoi whenever I play any other visual novel, but this ending does just make you want to read more VNs to have fun dates and spend time with cute eccentric anime girls. So if that was their objective, they achieved it. Alright, now that Aoi's ending is over, I guess I have to do this. I'm gonna cover Miyuki's ending. I know, it said I would be betraying both of them if I tried to read both endings, but it's my responsibility, as a person planning to do a retrospective on all of Totino, to cover both endings. Look, maybe I'll do an apology video or whatever, but I'm gonna push forward. Back on the roof at the center of the universe and at the end of the world, you choose MIYUKI. Even she's surprised you choose her after all she did. After the world ends, they will be together. She knows how much you love her, and that vow of eternal love was true after all. The play looks behind him. He feels something is missing, but can't tell what. Before MIYUKI rolls back the universe, she asks for a kiss, and then they send a signal. It's the opening scene again. This time I dialed Aoi's number, and something actually happened. Thanks for that, Aoi. MIYUKI appears, and just like Aoi's ending, she confesses her love. Shinichi shoots her down again by saying Yutaro called her up here, and belittles himself. He notices the phone in his hand is ringing, and there's a photo attached. They don't remember taking this picture and wonder who that girl on the left is, but they all seem to be having fun. It reminds MIYUKI of how they were when they were young. They get closer, and for some reason, tears come out of MIYUKI's eyes. They hug in this tender moment. Shinichi realizes no matter what persona she puts on, she's the same as she's always been. He wants to say something to her, and she tries to calm herself. Considering she's never been this nervous before, not even on stage, this must be the real her. Shinichi just comes out and says it. It feels like a massive burden is off his shoulders, one he had since his childhood. MIYUKI, of course, agrees to be his girlfriend. Shinichi can't help but smile. MIYUKI asks for a kiss.
いいの
That was a good insert song. Oh right, it was a good ending as well. And I think after how much emotional turmoil MIYUKI had to face and how much the players suffered from her actions, this is the picture-perfect ending for MIYUKI to cap it all off. In the beginning, Shinichi and MIYUKI never would have regained their childhood friendship or reciprocated their love because Shinichi was too afraid and MIYUKI was in another league. But seeing that picture of them together gave him some hope and he was actually able to confess his feelings. Literally right after MIYUKI gave herself on a silver plate to him, that dense idiot. I prefer this ending to Aoi's. Actually, it's kind of funny. The visual novel would guilt you into only reading one ending when, like, the two endings actually complete each other. Since the photo you sent in Aoi's ending, we get to see their reaction in MIYUKI's ending. Oh well, that's all of Totino. We did it, everyone. Oh, hold on. What's this? DLC? And it just had H scenes? Hell yeah. I normally wouldn't buy this kind of stuff, but this art style and character designs are so top-notch and polished, I just had to do it. Kinda useless since I can't show it anyways, because it's 18 plus content, but just so you know, I enjoyed myself. In however way you want to interpret that. Besides that, though, there's also something called the liner notes. These are messages from the developers of You and Me and Her from everyone who had a role in the game. This is a really nice bonus to put at the end and give some insight to everyone's feelings while working on this. I recommend you read them. Thank you, devs, for creating this wonderful game. Before I end this video, let's go on to the analysis. This visual novel is meant to be subversive. On the surface, it seems like a generic high school romance with a love triangle between the denpa girl and childhood friend, but it flipped it on its head by being aware of itself and of you, the player. That's why I love moments where it calls the player out. If you 100% the game, it makes fun of you. It uses these self-aware moments to great effect by using it in horror scenes and is able to guilt the player. This is why I wanted to get back to this scene where you were aware of the number that you weren't meant to know yet to escape the game early. This code number is one from the equation, by the way. You needed MIYUKI's variable, which you definitely did not know about at that point, and how to calculate the equation at all, really. Once you input the code, the world starts breaking apart. MIYUKI comes in and says, "This is impossible. She hacked the game so you wouldn't know the code. Even though you were told over and over again it was Aoi's birthday, you input some other number." She deduces that this is your second playthrough. She feels belittled and betrayed by you, the player, who was just playing around with her this entire time, as if she was some video game character and you wanted to see how she reacts. She swears her revenge. Luckily, before she kills you, she disappears and Aoi takes her place. She runs away from you. You chase her to the rooftop and she is crying, but she isn't crying happy tears. They are sad tears. She knows how Miyuki feels, being betrayed. You cheated. When even Aoi hates you, you must have really fucked up. You need to be punished. She asks you to restart the game. After a moment of silence, she takes that as your answer. What a shame. She calls God to force update the universe. Then the game resets. You betrayed them. To me, getting this ending is the ultimate sin to commit, the worst you can do to these characters. The player was driven by a curiosity. What happens if I do this to the game? I want to 100% the game and see everything through. But doing that completely disrespects these characters who aren't conscious of your actions as a player, these characters being Aoi and Miyuki. By trying to find all the endings and experimenting with the game, you inevitably treat it as a game. You treat these girls' lives as pawns, as test subjects to be played around with, even though the game explicitly makes it clear they know what you are doing as a player. So You and Me and Her asks the question, in a visual novel that has multiple romance options, what if the characters were aware of those different timelines where you essentially cheat on one person for someone else? AKA, it's aware of having different routes in a visual novel. It asks for your genuine respect as a player to not treat them as objects or as regular visual novel heroines, and wants you to choose one and be happy like in real life. So how it does this is by forcing Miyuki's route to be completed first, which is required for Aoi's route. When Miyuki becomes aware you cheated on her for Aoi on Aoi's route, she begins to take her revenge. She puts you in a loop where you can only spend time with her. The loop forces you to like her, to get to know her. That's what the security questions were about. It questions your ability to remember random trivia about her after spending time with her, like a real human relationship. And then you get to make your choice at the end of the game. After getting to know both characters, Aoi, who is a friendless eccentric, or Miyuki, a tragic albeit obsessive person, who do you choose? It's a hard choice. This ultimatum where you cannot easily see the other ending is in conflict with the thesis of this visual novel. The very first words you read. Life is like a staircase, you just gotta keep climbing. You do not have free will. But the very last choice spits in the face of that. You cannot load back a save to choose differently. This choice is irreversible. Life is not like a staircase. We do have free will. There are branching paths. Life is a series of choices where what you do matters. Or, that's just my take on it. That's all I have to say about the visual novel You and Me and Her. Hope you enjoyed this video. Consume everything, and goodbye.